Hello and welcome to the Radiate Wellness Podcast with your host, metaphysician, Reiki master, and hypnotherapist, Christi Clemons Hoffman. Each week, we will discover teachings, tips, and tools to radiate your best life ever with practitioners, authors, and luminaries to help you on your path. Wellness, joy, peace, abundance. What do you want to radiate?
Hello and welcome back to the Radiate Wellness Podcast, where today we radiate calm. You know, I talk a lot about meditation in this podcast. You've heard me talk to so many experts in mindfulness and spirituality, and we always come back to meditation. And there's a really good reason for that. It's because meditation is the gold standard to connect with your higher self, to connect with your higher power, and to really calm and quiet the mind and allow for more space to think, to create, to imagine. So it is very, very important. And also for stress reduction, of course. There are insurance companies like Aetna who stress mindfulness and meditation to their clients and customers because meditation helps reduce our stress levels, so our cortisol levels, heart rate, blood pressure, you name it. It's really, really good for the body in taming stress and well being. So it's something that I think everybody really needs to know about and know how to do. Now, you may know that I used to work at Hallmark. And after I was laid off from Hallmark, I went back to teach meditation and also perform Reiki in the medical department. I did the same services at TVH, which is an international company based here. The North American headquarters actually are based here in the Kansas City area. So for these corporate types, meditation was invaluable. And the medical departments for both companies actually footed the bill for this because they knew the benefit that it could bring to their employees. Now, if corporate types that are stressed out can learn to meditate, I promise you, you can as well. And I talk to all my clients about meditation, and I hear really common things from everybody. So I wanted to come and present some simple mindfulness and meditation techniques. And we're actually going to do together a mindfulness meditation practice so that you can get the idea of what it feels like. But first, I wanted to tell you some things to keep in mind about a meditation practice because people tell me all the time, Christi, I can't quiet my mind. And they'll say, well, Christi, I don't have time for meditation. Who's got the time for that? And I understand where people are coming from with this. And I used to think that myself. But honestly, meditation is so simple. It's ridiculously simple. We tend to overcomplicate it. So, meditation and its cool little sister, mindfulness, really have to do with just quieting the mind. Now, we don't stop the mind. You know, that's a common misconception. And we think that we can stop the mind, but you know what? Can you stop the heart? Can you stop the lungs? No, we can't do that. And nor can we stop the mind. But what we can do is we can learn to quiet it. We can learn to put space between the thoughts. We can learn to tame the mind. And really, that's what we're doing with meditation. So people tend to set out doing a meditation practice trying to do too much. So if this is you and you're not quite sure about starting a meditation practice, start small. Please start small. If we sit down for 30 minutes thinking that we're going to calm our mind for 30 minutes, that might be a little unrealistic. Instead, why don't you start with 3 minutes? Maybe 5 minutes. Never mind. Just start with 3 minutes. Set a timer for yourself. And when we sit down to begin a meditation, what we want to do is we want to set the stage, close the doors, make sure that you're not going to be disturbed. Put the cats out, then the dog out, and tell the kids not to bother you for a while. Actually, put some intention into creating a quiet, still space because that's really all you need to start meditation is a quiet, still space. So we don't need anything special. No timers, no music, no cushions, nothing like that. Just a quiet place to sit, lay down, or even just go about your daily tasks, but slowly. So we start small. And during this time, what we want to do is just give ourselves permission to do nothing, permission to quiet the mind. Because when we sit down just to experience some stillness, there is nothing to do, nothing to plan, no one to get back to, no one to call, nothing to schedule, just the present moment. And this is something you can give yourself. So at Hallmark and at TVH, these corporate clients that I had, a quiet meeting room, and we would dim the lights, maybe put on a little bit of soft music to drown out any ambient noise, but we would just sit calmly, quietly in a dim room. So in a quiet, dim room, I would tell my students, just sit quietly, watch your breath, focus on the inhale and the exhale. Thoughts are going to arise. That's inevitable. It's going to happen. So when thoughts do arise, just allow the thought to drift by. Don't attach any importance to it or just think, oh my gosh, there I go again. I can't quiet my mind. Just let the thoughts come, let them be. For some people, it works to imagine that there's a cloud floating by in the sky and that you send your thought up to the cloud and watch it fly by. For some people, they think of a leaf on a stream and that their thought goes to that leaf on the stream and the thought just goes past. Personally, I like to imagine that my mind is a big black box theater and I've got a large, new, soft, fluffy broom. And when my thoughts arise, I just sweep them clear of my mind. Whatever works for you is perfectly fine. But the goal is just to not attach to the thought, let the thought be, let the thought go, and return your focus to the breath. I mean, it really is that simple. This is why I recommend to start small. 3 minutes. If you can do 3 minutes without losing your mind, wonderful. Then increase to 5 minutes. Do 5 minutes as often as you can until you get really good at it. And then start increasing from there 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, however much time you'd like to devote to it, honestly. And do make it a regular practice. The more you practice it, the better you get at it. And if you can set a specific time of day, that would be wonderful because that time of day, you're going to start craving it. You're going to start expecting some stillness and some calmness. Honestly, I like to meditate first thing in the morning before I even get out of bed. I should keep my eyes closed, watch my breath, and clear my mind. Some people like it at the end of the day. At Hallmark and TVH, we did it over the lunch hour. And that's a great time to reset before heading back to the desk for the afternoon's work. Whatever works for you, honestly, is great. You can have some music if you want. You don't have to. You can set a timer just so you're not sitting there for 30 minutes. Although, if you have 30 minutes, would like to sit there for that amount of time, that's wonderful. But set a timer just to keep yourself accountable. And really, that's all you need. You know, what follows the rest of this episode is going to be a mindfulness based meditation practice where we're scanning through the body and we're releasing tension, etc. And this is a wonderful way to begin practicing meditation because you've got my voice, you've got the intention, you've got something to keep your mind busy, and that is to look through the body and find areas of tension. But anything that you would like to do in mindfulness is going to work. You can find lots and lots of meditation tracks on other podcasts, on Apple Music, on Spotify, YouTube, you name it. There's really no way to screw it up. And just knowing that there's no way to get it wrong takes away some of the stress of meditation. Anyway, I'll just let you listen to the rest of this episode, find a quiet space, calm your mind, settle down, see how you do. I hope you will make meditation a regular practice because the more you do it, the better you get. And the better you get, the more calm you have and the better your intuition works as well. All right, enough of me yammering. Let's get to it. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I would like to ask you a few simple favors. First of all, please rate, review, and share this podcast wherever you're listening. It sounds like a simple little thing, and it is, but it has a huge impact for us because it helps other people find us in the podcasting algorithms. I don't know how it works, but I do know that it helps a lot. Next, if you would subscribe or follow wherever you're listening, whether that's YouTube or Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, wherever you're listening, just hit subscribe or follow, and that helps you and it helps us. It helps you because then you receive notifications when we have a new episode that's out. It helps us because, again, algorithm magic, I don't know what happens, but it helps. And then finally, you can support our podcast in a tangible way by going to radiatewellnesscommunity.com/podcast and then click on support the show. Now, we have a new feature too. We are now on Patreon. You can find us on Patreon. You can also find the link to Patreon when you go to radiatewellnesscommunity.com/podcast. So on Patreon for $3 a month or $5 a month, you can support your metaphysical and spiritual growth. You can learn about upcoming guests and you can get early and ad-free versions of the shows. So please support us. This podcast is free for you to listen, but we have costs and quite frankly, they come out of my pocket. So if you like this content, if you get a lot out of it, please see what you can do to give back. Thank you so much. This is a basic stress-reducing, mindfulness-based meditation. It lasts about 20 minutes. Before beginning, please find a quiet space, turn off all distractions, perhaps close the door if you wish. Get settled in. And now we begin. I invite you to sit comfortably, feet touching the floor or close to it, or perhaps folded under you. Place arms in a comfortable position. Relax the shoulders. Guide the head to float gently away from the body. Spine erect. Head straight. Bring your breathing to a slow and steady pace. Feel your body come to center with each breath. Just for now, we give ourselves permission to quiet the mind, permission to sit in reflection, permission to be, just be. Right now, there is nothing to do, nothing to plan, nothing to schedule, to fabricate, to manipulate. Right now, there is no one we need to get back to, nothing we need to respond to. There is just the present moment. As you work with the breath, just feeling it enter the body naturally, comfortably. Feel the exhale, again naturally and comfortable. As we move through this practice, try to fill the belly with air first. Pull the inhale all the way down to the lower belly. And then with the exhale, pull the belly in, pushing the air out. Keep working with the breath like this. Just take a moment and notice all the parts of the body that do participate with the breath.
What parts of the body rise and fall? What parts of the body move in tandem? What parts of the body shift? Just continue to feel the next couple of breaths. And now, beginning with the feet, focus on the feeling of the feet. Focus on the points of connection with the rest of the body, with the floor, with furniture. What are the points of connection of the feet? Feel the feeling of socks and shoes. Feeling of toes against each other. Just focus on the feeling of the feet and the toes. And now, just focus on a feeling of releasing any tension or stress held in the feet. Just softening, releasing. Very good. As thoughts and distractions arise, which they inevitably will, just release them without judgment, like a cloud in the sky or a leaf on a stream. Just gently disengage from the thought or distraction and return the focus to the breath. And now we bring our attention and focus to the lower legs, from knees down to ankles. Notice this part of the body that touch. Notice the parts of the lower leg and ankles that come in contact with clothing, with any fabric of furnishings. What are all the points that touch on the lower leg? And now focus on a feeling of release and relaxation in the lower leg. Just like opening a tap and letting any tension run out. And now bring focus and awareness to the thighs, from knees to hips. The upper thighs and the bottoms of the thighs. Notice all the points of contact of the thighs, clothing, seams, whatever you're sitting on, other parts of the body. Just notice all the feelings of this part of the body. And now, wherever you're holding tension in this part of the body, just allow it to release and soften, letting any tensions flow right out. Softening the muscles, allowing for relaxation. And now focus on the hips and the sitting area. Notice all the points of contact. Notice the feeling of clothing on this area, the feeling of furniture or floor that you're sitting on. Notice the alignment of the hips. If you're holding any tension or any stress anywhere in the hips or the sitting area, just allow that to flow right out. Perhaps imagining a faucet being turned on and any stress or tension flowing out. Feel a softening in the muscles of this area. And now we bring awareness and focus to the abdomen. Just feel the feeling of the breath coming and going in the abdomen. Notice the belly expanding and retracting. Notice the feeling of clothing, of points of contact with the rest of the body. Feel the contact of seams, of wrinkles, of folds. And if there's any stress or tension anywhere in the belly, the lower abdomen, just let it flow right out. Softening the muscles of the abdomen. Very good. And now we focus on the feeling of the back, of the spine, the back of the body from shoulders down to hips. Check in with this part of the body and make sure that you're sitting erectly, pulling the spine straight up and floating the head above the shoulders. Just take a moment and check in with your posture. And so as we focus on the spine and the back of the body, from shoulders to hips, just notice what parts feel tense. What parts feel stress. Using your intention, focus on the feeling of releasing and relaxing these spots of tension within the back of the body and the spine. Letting these muscles of the body to relax and soften. Relax and soften. Breathe into this area of the body and feel the tension release. And now we focus on the arms and hands. Turning your attention to the arms and hands, just notice all the points of contact with the arms, the hands, the rest of the body. Perhaps see if you can distinguish the feeling of one finger from the next. Notice the feeling of clothing, of seams. Feel the weight of the arms hanging below the shoulders. By now, your arms and hands may be feeling very relaxed. But if there is any tension anywhere in the arms or hands, using your intention, let it flow right out. Let it go. Let it go. Feel the feeling of relaxation as overcoming the arms, the lower arms, the wrists and hands. And now we bring awareness and focus to the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders, sides of the shoulders, as well as the shoulder blades. Check in with this part of the body. Notice how it feels. Notice the feeling of clothing. Notice the feeling of space around it. We carry so much tension in the shoulders. If you encounter any spots of tension, any muscles that feel stress, using your intention, just ask this area of the body to relax and release. Releasing all stress, all tension. Feel the feeling of relaxation that comes with releasing the shoulders. And now bring awareness and focus to the neck and head. Check in with your posture. Check in to see that the head is floating gently up and away from the shoulders. If there is any tension in your neck, just ask it to flow right out. Flow right out. And now we focus on the feeling of the scalp from the back of the neck up and around to the forehead, from ear to ear. There are many muscles that move along the scalp. You may not be able to feel each and every one, but just focus on a feeling of release around the scalp. You might imagine receiving a gentle scalp massage. As we focus on the area of the body, we do become aware of all the muscles we had previously been unaware of. Just focus on a feeling of relaxation along the scalp. And now we move to the forehead, the brow. Check in with the eyebrows, make sure that they're dropped to the lowest comfortable level, that the brow is not furrowed. Just ease this feeling. And now check in with the area around the eyes. Just check in with the area around the eyes to be sure that nothing is squeezed tight. Relaxing and softening the upper eyelids, the lower eyelids, and all the muscles around. And now check in with the jaw and the lips. Allow the jaw to drop. If you were previously clenching your mouth closed, you'll know it now. Just allow the jaw to gently drop and the mouth to part slightly. Allow the tongue to just rest very gently within the mouth. And now, take a moment and just scan through the body, finding any areas that remain tense, that remain rigid, that remain in stress. If you encounter any areas like this, then just gently ask the body to release and let go of this stress, this tension. And now just focus on the feeling of lightness and well-being in the body. By now, the body may be feeling very light, or it could be feeling very heavy. There may be a feeling of tingling in the body. There may be a feeling of numbness throughout the body. This is temporary. But the feeling of well-being, the feeling of relaxation, that will last for as long as you allow it. Check in with the body now. What you're feeling is the relaxation response. Explore the body and feel the relaxation response. During times of stress, when you start to feel your body tense and become stressed, remember how it feels in this moment. Ask your body to turn to the relaxation response. And now, beginning with the next breath, begin to bring awareness to fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles, moving arms and legs, reconnecting with the body. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back. Thank you for joining me today.
Don't know what to watch next? Decisions. Well, we've got some suggestions. You can click this little video here and watch that. It's something that we think you're going to like. If you like the last one, you're going to like that one too. You can also click on the subscribe button. And if you do that, then you'll get notifications whenever we have a new video up. Win-win, right?